Yeah, it's that coming up from the bottom. Day one, $0 type shit. The only thing I'm ducking is the graveyard. Really with the shit y'all niggas play hard. I made it to a boss, I'm selling 8 balls. I came up from nothing, I could never take a day off. The only thing I'm ducking is the graveyard. Really with the shit y'all niggas play hard. I made it to a boss, I'm selling 8 balls. I came up from nothing, I could never take a day off. Turn your baby mama crib into a stash spot.
What's up, man?
You can't start until I hear that part.
How you doing? I know, baby mamas.
In case my baby mama's hearing.
Yeah, there we go.
She knows like it's a stash house now.
One of them. That's right. What's going on, dude?
Don't ask any questions.
That's
Nothing,
right.
Man. It's Friday.
Right.
That's a monster. Good week.
That's right.
Had a good event yesterday.
We did.
Brandon Brunch.
Yep.
Brunch and Brand.
Yep.
I say both because I can't remember which one.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, it sounds better with both.
Yeah. Tell people what it was.
You tell people what it was.
I will tell people what it was.
So it was similar to our content and cocktails.
There we go. Yeah.
Right? It was just teaching agents like how to build their brand and their business through social media, through YouTube, at length.
Yep.
You know, and just kind of like what worked for us and how we built our business. And hey, I hope this could work for you as well. But here's what's working and here's what's worked for us. And super fun, man. I think we had like 72 or 80 show up.
Yeah, all agents.
All agents. Great time. Full of content. We got a guy on today. I can't remember his name. I don't know what the fuck that is. Ever since I heard he fast forwards our podcast, I'm like,
call him Tampa. Technically, he has the settings set to fast
I wonder,
forward.
like, hey, does Tom Brady like fast forward through film to like get through it quicker, or do you let it go slow at its normal rate? Because even if you can't listen to the whole thing, you can't listen to as much, but you can listen to like resonates more.
I think it depends
Like
on who's
you
talking.
hear more.
I think it depends on who's talking.
No,
There's some people like Gary Vee. I could not
it
speed
depends
up
who's
Gary
talking,
Vee.
for sure.
I could not speed up Gary Vee.
I won't. You guys are missing my fucking point. I won't speed it up at all because like I'd rather like I don't want to miss something for the sake of saying I listen to more.
Yeah.
Or
You know what I mean?
faster.
Everything you do today is gonna be wrong.
Let's give an intro.
I'm okay with that.
Let's give an intro. Let's give an
That's
intro.
good, man.
We got Sam from, how do you say your last name?
Caudle.
Sam Caudle from Florida, Tampa, Florida. He is with our Legit Agents Network. He's got a YouTube channel down south. Crushes. I'm excited to talk to you because you're a relatively new agent.
Yeah.
You started your YouTube channel pretty much at the very beginning of your career.
Yeah, early.
And, you know, I remember a lot of the conversations that we were having in the early phase was, man, fuck, I've only been licensed like 6 months. Should I be doing this? Hey, should things be kind of working like this? Almost like you don't know what's working and what's not because you don't have any context
and you
yet.
talk to the perfect person because Eli is a kid that was like doing drugs and ditching class in high school. And so he's been giving that advice for a while.
Not true.
Hey man,
Mom.
like I just weed, but we're only 16. So it's like, yeah, dude, it's a plant. It's a plant. And then it worked out. So like you got good advice, but it is true, man. Like YouTube's powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
And
For brand new agents, for experienced agents.
And you talk to
don't
Eli
matter.
a lot more than you talk to me. I get more behind the scenes stuff from him with like how everybody's doing. But you kind of just got after it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like that was the one differentiator between like you and even some of the other channels that are doing great now. Like they took a minute because they were still like kind of in their own way or just not wanting to do whatever it may be. But like you kind of just, all right. And they just started implementing everything that we were talking about.
Executes every, and what I like, man, kind of like us. I get and then we'll let you talk.
Not much
some
talk.
point.
Just,
We'll let you
got
talk
after
at
it,
some point.
You
But
guys can just talk about me the whole time.
Similar to Will and I, dude. Like I think we're extremely good executors, but then we're also really good at just putting our own spin on shit and then making it just a little different, a little better for us. And I noticed that about you. Like you're very good at like running a play, but then after you've got some data, you put little spins and little tweaks and you try shit and you see things that work for you. Man, let's go into that, but let's talk real quick about kind of your previous experience and whatever the hell you were doing and then how you got into real estate.
Yeah. So I actually moved to Florida mid 2020, left a long-term job at a big nonprofit in Colorado Springs. And they were laying off some people. It's kind of like an easy chance to leave and go do something else. We kind of knew Florida was next for us, coming up pretty soon. And so we made that move. And at that nonprofit, I did all kinds of stuff. I acquired real estate for them. I traveled and audited offices. I went to 30 countries before I was 30 with them, doing all kinds of stuff. Whether that was hosting conferences or that was like confronting our Russian office about misuse of funds. Like, and going into those kind of contexts, you learn unique things, right? Yeah.
Did you learn to shut the fuck up when you're talking to Russians?
Yeah. You learn to stop smiling.
You like came back.
Really?
You came back to the nonprofit like, nope, it was a mistake. They properly used funds. Yeah, great. Have a great day. I'm like dying over this.
I'm like in Moscow and I'm like, I look like these people. And they're like, no, you don't. You smile too much.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I see that.
Got to be sad. Got to be sad.
Because if you've ever smiled even once, that's too many.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, took all that experience down to Florida, knew I was going to get into real estate, got my license, and, just started. I like something you said yesterday with the water bottle. You moved it off the table. You said the failure was off the table. And
so
and
just context, right? So it's just context of what he's talking about. We were at the event yesterday and we were talking about people getting in their own way or starting over or whatever it may be. And there was a bottle of water on the table and I use it as like a physical representation. And I took it off the table and I said, hey guys, if this bottle were to represent quitting, I said, quitting has been off the table for a long time. Mm-hmm.
Not like you're actively fighting against it. It's just not a thing.
It's just not a thing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew I'm going to figure this out. And I wasn't questioning it.
It's figuring it exactly. So it's not so much fighting, man, oh God, I want to quit so bad. It's like, no, it's not even a thing. It's, I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. And it's like, we might quit something into something. Sure. Like, for example, if we were to quit like a marketing campaign because it's not working, we'll quit that campaign in efforts of making a pivot into another form of campaign, whether it be social media marketing, in person, whatever it is. But like, it's all in the efforts of like moving forward. But like Will and Eli just like not doing business or not doing real estate. Like that's the quitting part. That's off the table.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just knew I'm going to find a way. Then I listened to you guys on GSD mode.
Baller.
And
Stud.
Reached out to both of you on Instagram. You guys were super encouraging. Like, go for it. Yeah, this is the gear we use. Like, you got it. And so that was September of 2020.
Yep.
January 2021, I started 3 videos a week. So I feel like it took. I feel like that was too long. I feel like I dragged my feet on that.
Yeah.
And
I just like hearing 3 videos a week.
Yeah. Well, I published the first one, and I'm like, oh dang, people are watching this. Like, I got to do 3 a week.
Yeah.
How many people watched?
I had 8 in the chamber. When it got to double digits, I'm like, this is real. Like,
so
this is working.
When 11 people or 12 people watched, and I'm asking on purpose, not to make fun, but to just get people to understand, like, that's the same way our channel started.
Yeah, dude.
It was like 27 views, 39 views, and
Dude, we were stoked for it. We're like, fuck, 27 people in a room. That's you're filling a room.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like organic traffic. It's different than other things. It's not your friends. It's not your family. It's not promoted content. Like, it's different.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know, we enjoyed it. But when we first started our channel, like, we learned that framework, right? Jesse and Jackson, studs. We learned that framework. And we were just committed to that process. And we also knew, like, hey, this thing's going to take time. All good. Like, we didn't have this expectation. Like, man, if this doesn't work in 30 days. And like, that's where people just have to assess, like, their own barometer of, like, what they consider a win, what they consider a duration of time before making a decision. I was talking to somebody yesterday. It was a female. Not that males aren't stupid. We're all stupid. But she had made a comment of, like, something about, like, if, like, even after, like, 5 minutes, if, like, someone says a certain thing, then they're just, like, out of there. I think someone was making a comment, it's like dating nowadays. And I was like, well, you ain't never going to date anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you'll go 5 minutes, and if something, like, someone says something just not quite, like, oh, yeah, it's like, no, dude, what? Like, that's the amount of effort singles are giving each other. Like,
how's that working for you?
Yeah.
I promise you, even to this day, every 5 minutes, I say something Kate chooses to just turn her another shoulder to, like, fucking idiot, right? Or whatever, right? But it's like, but it's more about, like, core values, right? And it's like, you don't really get down into, like, human connection with core values and what they stand for and how they want to approach life for a while. You're going to hear what people want to say or what people want to believe in themselves for a while, which isn't necessarily a lie. We're just putting our best foot forward when we meet someone, right? And then we indulge in entertainment and sex and whatever else that puppy love brings, right? But it just takes time before you really start getting down to that person. But if you never even allow, and you can keep sex out of it and still find that, right? Like, But it just takes time to really get fundamentally like with somebody
everything.
to where
Yeah.
the things that they say, like something that someone says that bothers you in the first 5 minutes, a couple of years down the road, it's not even a thing. It's water off your back. It's not because it's not whether it bothers you or not. It's just, it's them and like you know what they stand for and what they're all about. And there's just more context there.
Yeah.
So same thing with your YouTube channel. It's like 5 minutes into your YouTube channel, like it's not going your way or what your perception of what you thought it should be. So then like you're not even doing it. And it's like you could be leaving millions on the table. And I can say that literally because we make millions on our channel. So I'm literally telling you like, do that. But then you could be leaving millions of dollars off the table because you put quitting on the table.
Yeah. Let me ask you a business question about that. I was writing about this yesterday when I was on the plane. I think a lot of business success is just intuition of when to not quit and when to quit. Mm-hmm. So like when like a lot of people don't succeed because they quit too early, or they don't quit something that they shouldn't be doing. Where do you find that intuition to figure out which one it is?
It's your parameter of success. So like, let's just go back to, just do real estate in general. When I first got into real estate, right? It was, hey man, I'm going to give this 12 months of everything I got. And it's either going to pan out or a relationship or something from the real estate industry will take me in a direction that could pan out.
Yeah.
But the minimum time frame I was giving myself, minimum, was 12 months. But it was 12 months of actual adequate work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, for example, do you know how many people lose, myself included, do you know how many people lose the same 20 pounds every year? Mm-hmm. They're like, damn, doggy, you've lost 100 pounds. I want to start saying that to my friends. Hey, bro, you lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
What? Like, yeah, the same 20 every year. Fuck.
No shit. Yeah.
You know, versus like if they just stay consistent, right? So like for me, it was, hey, I'm not like people's little crash diets and this and that. And like they do 4 crash diets for the year or 3 crash diets for the year. But then at the end of the year, they're in the same spot.
Yeah.
So if I were to crash diet with real estate and just do little spurts of like work and then lose momentum and then little spurts of work and then lose momentum. And then at the end of that 12 months, it's like, man, I haven't really made any money. And it's like, okay, is it because you're not good at it? Or is it because you weren't super consistent with it for a duration of time? So when you're testing something, regardless of whether it's real estate or not, like your parameter has to be appropriate. So for me, it was a 12-month window.
Yeah.
No less. No fucking less. Like I was prepared to make zero fucking, well, not prepared. I'd be broke as shit. But mindset wise, it was minimum. But the work and consistency also had to be there with the window. You can't say you've done something for 12 months if you haven't put the consistent work and progression into it. Right. Makes sense? So for me, it was that duration of time with adequate fucking effort of learning and applying. And then, I ended up doing 34 deals my first year. But even if I'd have done, 12, well, 12, you're in the top 20% of realtors. If you're doing 12 deals or more, you're like the entry to top 20% as a realtor in the country is doing 12 deals, doing a deal a month. So even if
that's what I did my first year.
So there you go. So like just having an accurate understanding of like what success looks like is also important. Because take 34 deals off the table. That wasn't my goal. That wasn't what I was trying to do. I was focused on learning and applying, and then just scaling and capitalizing on everything I had learned to the next phase, right? But it was also important. And when we started running our team, we had new agents coming on. You do 12 deals a year, you're in the top 20%. So if you're in your first year of real estate, you're inside the top 20%, I would consider that a success. I would say, hey, you've got something there that says, hey, you can do this and you can progress further. You look at Major League Baseball, you go to the minor leagues. There's like 19,000 fucking minor league systems now, right? Or 7. And on average, they say if you're moving up a league every 2 years, you are on a path to hit the actual big leagues. Some guys make it sooner, some guys take a little longer, but on average, if you're going, single A and double A and triple A and a couple, whatever else they have now, like if you're moving up every year to every 2 years into the next level, you're on a path to Major League Baseball. So same thing, like let's say you don't hit top 20% your first year. Let's say you do 5 deals.
Yep.
Let's say you do 7 deals. Call it 6 because I'm an idiot and I need easy math. 6 is half of the 20%, right? Like,
Yep.
But hey, is there there was people, dude, what was it, last year, the year before, 6 months into the year, where 40% of realtors hadn't even done a deal yet. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing 6 deals a year, like, hey, you're in the top half of real estate. So it's like, hey, it might not be where you want to be or want to end up in, like, that's okay. But is there something there that says so that's what I was looking for. Long story long here.
Metrics.
So long story long, what I was looking for when I was first coming to real estate was just some clues of success.
Yeah.
Could I be consistent with it? Could I make improvements? As in, if you're learning and applying, and then you learn and apply, and you're taking that and you're progressing with what you're learning, that's giving evidence that you have a capacity for more. Your brain and how you operate is functioning in a progressive manner of, I can learn basics, I can apply it, which then gets me to this intermediate level. I apply it, which then gets me to this professional level. And then I apply it, which then eventually can lead into like a mastery level, which I feel is what we're working on now. Do you have the brain capacity? I'm not calling people dumb. You're not going to get me to write code on a computer. I have zero fucking capacity for that. Yep. So it's not about smart or dumb. It's about finding what you're good at. And you might, like, I didn't go through special operations or Marine Corps infantry. Like, yeah, dude, I can't wait till this turns me into a soccer mom and I'm selling real estate. Right? Like, I'm not like training with Marines in some shithole thinking like, hey, dude, a couple of years, I'll be a realtor. Yeah. Right? Like, no, right? So like, this isn't fucking plan. So you like, but I also love it. But you have to be open-minded to like what you're good at. I knew I was good with people. And I knew if I believed in something, I was good at sales. Yep. Well, I'm the product when it comes to sales. And if I can believe in myself, I can believe in the product. And then that lands me home in real estate. I've never had more fun in my life in business than with what we do now, but it's in something that you never would have, I never would have guessed I'd be doing. So being open-minded to it was the first thing. Giving a duration of time with an adequate level of consistent effort, and then measuring, do I have a capacity of mental success? Like I can actually progress through this. And then not so much that I just know how to do it. Am I converting some sales that says I can take the capacity into conversion, right? Like quarterbacks that are super smart, but they don't throw any touchdowns. You might be a great coach one day, but guys not only have to have the capacity at the quarterback position, they also have to be able to execute and throw that touchdown. So same thing. I felt like I was having the capacity. I was understanding it. I was progressing knowledge-wise, but then I was able to convert.
Yeah.
So those things there, you know, were huge for me. But it all started with, I'm giving it this fucking time frame, and I'm going to give it this level of consistent, adequate effort and work and grind. Because I knew if I'm not, then measuring capacity and measuring sales would be false. Because if you're not giving it that consistent effort for that duration of time, these are jaded. Like it's not kosher, right? So like you have to set that standard with yourself in order to be able to measure it. And like after my first year, I felt like, hey man, like we've got something we could take a long way.
There's one more element to that I think is super beneficial for me.
Weed.
And that's having people around you to fucking compare yourself to.
Yeah.
Don't ignore me.
You know,
and
it's like
a feedback loop.
Yeah, weed. Yeah. I got it. Yeah, weed. For the record, I didn't smoke weed till I was like 18. I was really good in high school. Didn't do shit.
We don't care.
Didn't even have any alcohol till 18. Just clearing the air for all the people that think I was a fucking weedhead.
No, that's true. And dude, you didn't have sex, so you were married.
Anyway,
like you did it the right way. Like, and it was missionary.
That's
like,
true.
dude,
I know.
Props.
Missionary is great. But anyway, having people to compare yourself to, and that's one thing that I think, man, if you're on an island and wherever it is that you're at, man, it's real easy to learn if you're doing the right shit or not when you've got other people that are kind of around doing some similar things and you're fucking sucking and everyone else is winning.
It can't, agreed.
It can be a trap though.
Agreed. And I don't mean to,
oh, for sure.
It could be, because like I don't mean to say this in an egotistical way, but if I'm doing 34 deals my first year and you did 7, do you feel like a piece of shit?
Yeah.
When in reality, that 7 is a show of success. So like,
correct.
Is that person with 7 now getting out of real estate because they don't think they have what it takes because they were measuring my 34?
Right.
So context for sure matters.
But correct. But that's why like I fall back on data.
Yes.
And we did this with our team. When we were building our team, we gave our team a goal, and it was like, hey, we want everybody on this team to be in the top 20% of real estate. Because if you're in the top 20% and you're doing a deal a month on average, I feel like you're doing enough to be considered a professional at your job after like 3 to 4 years. If you're doing 1 deal a month for 3 to 4 years, like I feel like you've got enough history there that says, hey, I'm a real estate professional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
But you got to give them, but the reason why it was 12 deals a year or more is because like, hey, that puts you into the top 20%. The top 20% of real estate, I feel like, are the full-time realtors.
Yeah.
I don't consider you a professional if you're not full-time.
Yeah.
So there is rhyme and reason behind the data. Where I like putting yourself around the right people is, I guess it's a combination of both. Because if I'm around a guy and he's in his first year, I'm in my first year, or he's in his second, I'm in my first, and he's doing 34 and I'm doing 7, but my capacity is growing. I'm learning and understanding like what he's doing. But then I have the data to fall back on and go, all right, cool. Like I'm not that guy,
Yep.
but I am showing some progression. It's like, great. I mean, imagine kids playing baseball in high school with Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
You don't know who that is. He's a phenom, right? Like one of the best high school prospects to ever
he's
come
high
out of high
school.
school.
Okay.
Well, he's a professional now.
Yeah.
But when he was coming out of high school, dude, he was hitting 450-foot bombs,
Yeah,
throwing
damn.
the ball at 91 miles an hour.
Jesus.
He was one of the most sought after high school prospects ever. Leaves high school early, gets his GED, just so he can go to junior college for a year,
Yep.
and then he gets picked up. Imagine if that kid is your high school teammate.
No shit.
But you could also be a stud.
Not
and
have
you
any
just-
idea.
But
Yeah.
if you're not, being around him can be leveling you up though.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But then comparing the data to like other batting average, other average strikeouts for your
Yeah.
state for national averages, you can still see like, hey, I might not be that fucking phenom, but I'm here.
Yeah.
And I got to keep going because, dude, there's 2 other players from that team that play professional baseball outside of Bryce Harper from that high school team. So interesting. But if those guys were like, no, that's what it takes, fuck.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
So I found myself in that trap of comparison that first
Yeah.
year. And I mean, comparing to you guys and feeling like I feel like I have the same views, I have the same reach outs, I'm not converting them the same way. I'm not as good at this. But then it was like looking back at that success that I defined early on of like, this is my first year. I want to cover my expenses. If real estate pays all my expenses, that's a successful first year for me.
100%.
Yeah.
And also like letting that comparison like show that I was hungry. Like be encouraged that I'm like hungry, that I want more, that I'm not satisfied with where I am.
Yep.
And like reach, right?
100%. And then looking at it like, man, my views, my this, my that's there, but like, I'm not doing as many deals. It could also be like, you're just ready for more, as in like, all right, what am I missing?
Yeah.
Could it be the whole text message, phone number, email? And then when
Right.
people are coming through,
What systems am I missing? Yeah.
am I missing the Zoom call with the buyer presentation?
Yeah.
Am I introducing them to my preferred lender who does the same? Like,
Right.
then you start, because now it's like, cool, views, reach out, you're getting it. Now it's like, yep, now we've just got to dial in the rest of it.
But it was easy to look for excuses instead of solutions.
Oh, for sure.
To say like, I'm new to the area. I'm new to the industry.
Yep.
I'm younger. Like whatever it
I
was.
see what you're
right?
saying. Yeah, 100%.
And so I was reaching for those instead of like reaching for solutions.
Yep.
Until I would like reach out to one of you guys.
Eli.
Eli's like,
Yeah, he's smart with that.
yeah. He's like,
credit
hey,
where credit's
like,
due, man.
are these systems here? I'm like, not really. He's like, get them there.
There you go. You're like the kid throwing the ball over 90, right? But then like you start playing good teams and they're hitting fucking dingers on you. You're like, hey, dude, we got to learn how to throw a curveball and a changeup. And then once you learn how to throw them, you got to know when to throw them.
Right.
But all of a sudden you're like, hey, you got views, you got reach outs. It's like, hey, there's talent there. You got something there. Hey, you can throw the ball good.
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
not a thrower, you're a pitcher.
Right.
So now we got to turn you, and that's how it's like, hey guys, our YouTube channel is a business. Right? It went from like talent and reach outs and some traction and some there where we were getting attention. People were appreciating the channel, but it had to very quickly
Let's call that
turn
a job.
Yeah.
We'll call that a job.
Well, or
transitioning into
talent.
Yeah.
Because when I'm comparing it to sports,
Sure, I got you.
you got a lot of guys that can throw the ball 92 miles an hour.
Yep.
It doesn't make him a Major League Baseball pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got guys like Greg Maddux that threw the ball 89, and he's literally one of the best pitchers to ever play baseball ever.
Yep.
So it's really talking about like, hey, did you and I have some talent for, being on camera and creating some titles and like having some good energy to create a spark? Mm-hmm. But then you got to turn it into a business.
Correct.
Same
Yeah.
thing with like a pitcher. Like, hey, you got talent.
Yep.
You're throwing the ball hard and you can throw it over the plate. Awesome. However, now we've got to learn these different pitches. And then we need to learn why and when we're throwing different pitches, placement, different type of pitch to really create like a full circle. Hey, man, you're not a thrower. You're a pitcher. And you've got to make that switch because a lot of guys that are throwers, they want to throw the ball by a hitter. I did that one time, right? Like, I'll mention the guy's name. Sean Thompson played for San Diego, drafted out of high school. He went to Thunder Ridge High School. And I had spoken to that coach about going to Thunderbirds for my senior year. It'd be open enrollment. I was left-handed and played center field. So was Sean Thompson. Mom said no. Hey, this is where you go to school. This is where you go to school, right? So cool, no problem. We play them at home. Cool. So I'm like, I'm starting that game, right? Sean's lead off, and I'm warming up, but I'm not throwing too hard. I'm just like throwing some meatballs over the plate. Just, I'm already loose, but then like you throw a couple once you get into the game, right? And I'm warming up. I'm like, I don't really want him to see like what I got. So I'm just going to like kind of like pitch my warm-up pitches like I'm throwing them hard, but I'm not throwing them hard.
Okay.
Because then when he actually gets in the batter's box and I really throw it fucking hard,
he's going to see.
I want to gas this bitch.
Yep.
He fucking hit that ball a mile.
Oh,
it's
really?
probably still going. I don't know if the ball's come down. He fucking hit that ball, dude. It took one bounce in the parking lot over the right field fence and then hit the fucking school.
Damn.
And dude, it was like, right? Like never got such a great laugh, chuckle, smile from my coach, Coach Hall.
Yeah, really.
Bless his heart, dude. I love that guy. Yeah, he fucking laughed. And he should have, because it's like, dude, like this kid, he ended up getting drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
Good ball player. But it's like, hey, man, you can't just throw it past a guy like that. Not when you get to a certain level. Like, no, the benefit to that game was he went 1 for 4. That was his only hit, right? And then I started using my pitches and placement, and he had some lazy fly balls to the shortstop, and like I was able to like really minimize his progress in that game. So I felt proud of that. But more than I felt proud of shutting that guy out for 3 more at bats, I fucking needed that dude to hit that ball a mile. I needed it, bro.
Yeah.
Because everyone else, like for the most part, man, like if I needed a pitch, I could typically get it by a guy like. But that was like.
So that's why your coach is laughing, because he knows you.
Oh, dude, because he also knows the lesson that's in that. Like, hey, good for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just ran right into a glass wall, right? Like, but it's good to like understand that and learn that, and it also applies like in business of just like, hey, man, like you can't just rely on talent or gutting it out or getting by. Like, no, man, you need a Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Or some form of calendar that's linked to your emails, that's also linked to your business partner or anybody or your assistant or anybody else, because you've got to get organized and you've got to prioritize what matters most, right? And you've got to put things into that calendar to make sure that like you're proficient with your time. You've got to have systems and processes. You've got to have other people with roles in your business to make sure that it sustains, because the worst thing that happens is you get super fucking busy and you're doing stuff. All of a sudden clients start slipping through the cracks or not getting responded to. Now you're just showing everybody how you don't help, and then your business ends up tanking. So it's like, no, man, you can't just throw the ball by. But like the analogy I'm using here is like throwing a pitch by a guy that's relying on gritting it out or just talent.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man, like there's so much more that you have to apply within like growth.
Yeah.
And you got to be prepared for it.
Sam, talk about that, because that's been, I feel like, the latest for you, right? Channel's doing well, it's converting, all that stuff. You've got business coming in.
Are you making a lot of money?
You've got a buyer's agent coming in.
Money. Yeah.
You've got some new kids you're able to spend some time with.
Write your number down, honestly.
How's the channel
I'll
doing?
tell you.
Yeah. How's the channel doing?
How much?
I mean, so I stepped out of production in November
Yep.
of last year.
Yep.
My son was born. I'm like, I
So
don't.
you made it a full year in real estate.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to do any more showings or write any more contracts, negotiate any more inspections. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Which, full disclosure, you also struggled with, because I remember before we had the talk before you need it, bro, hire this buyer's agent.
Yeah.
And then it was, I think it was only 6 months. I remember you saying, man, I've only been licensed like 6 months. Really? It was like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of groomed this young kid to do it.
He was a client. He fucking reached out on YouTube.
And so he came down, we had lunch. He was flipping shoes, selling mattresses.
Flipping shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, like Jordans and shit?
Yeah. And he was a competitive runner in college. I'm like, I think he'd be a good realtor. Like that combo, something like stuff.
He like cannot wait to get out of real estate. He's just like,
Dude, can't wait. Can't fucking
dude,
wait.
you're super good at panhandling. You'd be a good realtor.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, no
Fucking
shit.
hell.
But he called me a few weeks later. He's like, I'm getting my license. So he went for it, got his license, moved down, started I'm like, you got to find your own leads at first.
Yep.
So you can have some of mine. But then like my son was born, stepped out of production, and I mean, he's done 30 deals since.
Dude, it reminds me
10
of like
months.
when you and I first spoke, and like I was getting my license, and like I talk to a lot of people that are starting to like think about getting into real estate, and like I tell them, I go, hey, listen, get your license. No, yeah, I don't know. I know, but like, I was thinking, and it's like, hey,
Shut the fuck
it's not
up.
It's not that I'm not excited about what you're thinking. It's that get your fucking license. And I use that as a filter, man. Because like
It's a
I can't
major
give,
filter, yeah.
I can't give time. If you can't commit to a couple months of studying and applying yourself through a testing process to just get through that first control measure to being a realtor. Because there's people that have a license that are still so far off as far as like work ethic. I know like if you can't even put the effort in to get your license, there's just not a conversation to have yet. And you've really got to be particular with your time, But that's fucking dope. And like you structure your life different. Like this is where everybody has to like understand and prioritize what they do, right? Because like you can live like within your means, whatever that is for you. But like for you, it's like you're not buying the fucking Lambo. You're not gambling your fucking money. You're buying $50,000 watches. You're like,
I've never driven a car with a car payment.
There you go. But what I'm getting at is like everybody's got to figure out their win. Like for you, it's like, hey, I want time with my son.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and then you get a buyer agent. He starts working. You're like, hey, financially, giving him part of the deal plus me having the deal. I'm running the content. He's running the transactions. I make enough money. I don't have to run any of that. I can work 14 hours a week with doing content. The rest of my time, I can give to my kiddos. Hey man, that's a fucking win.
Huge
for you.
win.
Super
huge win.
Yeah.
So numbers. So what's your channel looking
So
like?
first year, that was just me. Brought in 72,000 net commission.
Yep.
So and then this year so far, I'm at 120 and my agent's at that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So that's 240 in GCI.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
No,
solely
net.
YouTube. Oh yeah.
net,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good. So that's after your splits. That's after all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. We are actually taking that home.
Right.
So what's the total commission it's brought in?
240.
No, that's net. What's the total you think before bills are paid?
I mean, that's
have to
just
look at it?
the split. I'd have to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Add 20%.
Yeah.
to it.
Probably another, 40 grand.
How much does your channel cost to run?
It cost me my editor that I just hired. So I shot and edited my first 120 videos.
You're also good at that shit, and you like
And
doing it.
I've done it.
And you like doing it.
What an
Yeah.
asshole.
Or did.
Yeah, good for you, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, I liked it. It was that part of it was fun to me, that like iterative growth of that.
Well, look, man, if you got a buyer agent at some point, like
Yeah.
that also frees up some time where you can do it. But if you're good at
Exactly.
it and you like it, then you're being time efficient. If you're not good at it and you don't like it, don't fucking do that.
That's why I wanted to make that point, because
Yeah.
there's so many people, they'll spend 10 hours on a video for it to look like fucking trash.
No. Yeah. My editor, like now, so he does like the first couple passes on a video, and then I'll kind of just add some touches at the end.
Yep.
But I even tell him like perfect is the enemy. Like perfect is the enemy in this. Like
Make sure it's time and you guys
the
are
con-
proficient with your time.
if this is good content, it's good content.
Yep.
Right? Like this doesn't need to feel like a documentary. This doesn't need to feel like a movie. Like, no, that's not what we're making. We're making YouTube videos.
Yep.
People are
Correct.
putting this on their
It
TV.
might actually hurt you more.
Exactly.
Well,
If it feels
people
like
want to
that.
feel like they're feeling like they're walking with you down the street, and like
Yeah.
whatever area or neighborhood that you're showing, they want to actually feel, with good quality, clear content, but as raw as it can be, to feel like they're walking right next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a movie trailer,
And
tuning
especially
out.
if you want people to reach out, if you want people to feel comfortable
well, if they're looking at
reaching
moving
out,
somewhere, they're not looking
Yeah.
at Dwayne Johnson flying in his fucking cape through a neighborhood.
no.
If you're looking at an action movie, then yeah, they want it to be an action movie. But it's not
and
what
you
they're
got to
going
be
for.
accessible. You've got to, if they feel like you're so like, man, this
Yeah.
documentary guy, you're just not accessible. They're not going to reach
PPP
out.
break. You guys talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
So I pay my editor about $400 a
okay.
month.
Yep.
I pay him $25 an hour.
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
But
But only $400 a month.
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Because I'm giving it to him kind of piecemeal. So I'm like, I need you to get faster at this part,
Okay.
and then I'll give you the graphics. And
got
then we
it.
can get
Okay.
faster at that part, and I'll give you this next part.
How many videos is he doing per week?
1 to 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 8 a month,
Yeah.
$400 a month.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, and I'm paying him hourly right now.
Yeah.
We'll get to a point to where we like pay per video, because I want him to be incentivized to
So
go
how
faster.
much is he spending? How much time is he spending on a video?
2 hours
That's really good.
or less?
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good. Are you teeing it up pretty nice for him?
Yeah.
Like you're organized with all your shit that you're getting over there?
Super organized, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's got to help.
And I've practiced on camera a lot, and I've had friends that are actors give me feedback, things like that. I've tried to get really good at that, so that I'm really easy to edit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
It's
not
one take.
I'm not stumbling around. I'm not saying I'm even feedback from video editors of like how should I say this or how far back should I go if I mess up? Like some of those things
Yeah.
that make
So
it
it's easy
easier
for
for an
you.
editor. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's a good tip.
Costs about $400 a month for my editor, and the channel makes that in AdSense anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
So it pays for itself.
Yep.
Well, you make more than 400. Oh, wait. Oh,
Just from
AdSense.
the AdSense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have that?
We do have it set up.
Fucking
I just need to
Eli.
connect to Google AdWords.
What a fucking.
It's collecting somewhere. I just need
You're
to set- I need
Jewish.
to
How
set
are
up
you
the
just
Google
leaving
AdWords.
money on the
I
table?
told you I'm the worst Jewish guy ever.
You are.
I've been telling you that this whole time.
Be a better Jew, because that's
trying.
why.
Yeah,
That's why I
I'll-
reached out
I'll
to you in the
find
first
that
place.
I'm trying.
Yeah, bro.
I'm trying. I know.
Whole
I need
reason
your
reached
help
out to
getting
you.
my Google AdWords.
Dude, you had
set
your
up.
yarmulke on. It was Christmas. I was going through my, and I was like, I'm gonna work with that guy right there.
That's awesome.
Nope.
That's
Fucking
awesome.
false advertising. You're probably just
know.
trying to get into my pants,
Oh, that's obvious.
into my broke pants back then.
That is obvious.
So what's the goal right now as far as like channel progress you're having? What's the best piece of like? What are the best videos you're doing? Where's the progress there? And like, what's your next step with real estate?
Yeah, a big thing that you guys said is like you run someone else's play for a while, and then you realize like I can't run somebody's play forever.
Right.
How do I make this my own? How do I make
It
this
evolves.
sustainable for myself to keep doing it? And so one way I've done that is through like doing series. Like I did a series called Tampa Explained, where I like broke down the map and like created a framework, like a decision-making framework. And I just like that kind of content.
Explain.
Yeah.
So
Because I'm trying to run your play and make
No,
our
no.
channel better.
yeah, you should. And
Oh, hear that? He's like, yeah, you should. Your channel sucks.
people
Will.
in Tampa are just like straight copying this right now.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
But it's
you know
not,
how they do.
But it's not working.
No. So
Because they're not.
Gotta get them under you, bro.
I created this framework. Say, okay, we're going to look at the whole area through this. We're going to talk about proximity, style, size, and cost.
Okay.
So then I'll explain some of these nuances about the Tampa area. There's tons of unincorporated area. It's strange.
Right.
But then we're going to break the map down. Okay, South Tampa. Okay, downtown. Okay, east suburbs. And like actually talk about them in that framework, because then that playlist lives a certain way. And then somebody could easily go watch through that whole playlist and get a good feel and reach out.
And you feel like there's so much there. It's worth more than one video.
Yeah. And it writes the content for itself as well.
Are you doing screen shares for these, or what are you doing?
So now I'm doing a Living on the Water series where I am doing more screen shares, and I am getting more into MLS, and I'm actually like letting people in my brain a little bit more of how I would like think about those kind of things.
Yeah. Okay.
And people seem to really like that.
So explain that. So you're showing a map, and you're talking about different areas on the
Yeah.
map and stuff like that in real time.
Yeah.
And
so then I just send a screen recording, and I send my A-roll to my editor, and then, my face is just down in the corner.
And what are you doing with the MLS?
So someone questioned like, what's the cheapest water view? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I like that question.
Let me literally go show you.
And then that
what-
like audience engagement, like, hey, I'm okay with you guys driving this series a little bit. Like, let's dig into this question. And it took me 15 minutes to make the video.
And then right, but it's not live. You pre-record this, then upload it.
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Cool.
It could be live, and I've gone down that road a little bit, but I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, you don't know if like it's cool to do live and people could ask questions, but it just depends on if anyone's jumping on, happens to
Yeah.
jump on right when you're doing it. People tend to like want to research stuff, and like watch times are great. Our watch time's like over 10 minutes or 9 minutes, whatever it is. People want to like consume it. So they want to like, hey, like when they get off of work or whatever, maybe like they want to sit on and consume it. So popping on when it's live, like that's so much different than like somebody popping on for like an Instagram live. You're like, oh yeah, cool, I'm at my desk. Like, yeah, what the fuck's this guy talking about? Oh
Yeah,
nothing.
it's
Clicking
different.
off of it. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll show the MLS and like actually, type in the search, like, yeah, we want a view of this, and then like go show some listings.
Yep.
And like criticize them too. I'm like, this isn't a real water view. This is like a water view from the balcony of
Yeah.
the gym
So
at the condo
relatable.
complex. It's
Yeah.
like super relatable.
Yeah.
So like the more people,
People appreciate that honesty.
they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people,
Because you just saved them time. Because if they'd have gone
Yeah.
and go look at that condo, like, dude, what am I doing here? Like, oh, this is the photo from the gym
Yeah.
on the 14th floor that everybody gets to use.
Exactly.
Like, man, it's almost like, dude, bait and switch in like the car industry is illegal.
Yep.
You can't be marketing a car that you know's already gone. Like the fact that like realtors can like market that, it's like,
Yep.
well, technically it is an ocean view. Yeah, if I'm up here working out with it, like you
Yeah.
should disclose that.
Yeah,
you
right,
know,
yeah.
like I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like
way more gray
And
area.
what realtors don't know is like, hey, man, you're actually like, you could be hurting your product, because if your product is not as good as what people are imagining it to be when they show up, they've got this negative vibe. Like I can't even explain how much when it comes to like listing a product, how if it's underwhelming when they get there because you set this precedence.
yeah.
Yep.
how much that hurt, because now even though like it's under what they thought, it could still be great. But because you made it this and now it's this, kind of like you're going 160 miles an hour and you slow down to 120, you're going to feel like you're going so slow.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're not. You're just going 120 miles an hour, right? Like same thing. Like you make this listing this, right? Because you're trying to compete with the real ocean views, or whatever it may be, and it's not. It's like, man, it could still be a great listing, but because people feel lower than what they expected to feel when they show up, it's just there's a negative stamp on it, and it hurts you. Versus like just let the property be what the property is, and just allow it to flourish, because people that can afford that one, because it's probably more affordable than the one that's on the real water, they're appreciative for like what it is. So just let it be that, right?
Yeah. But people like that critical side.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, and you guys feel it with YouTube. I mean, that part of it's kind of annoying sometimes. They want the negative things.
Yeah, that's why people reach out to us, because they're like, hey, you guys are just honest.
Exactly.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
If you don't like something, you say you don't like it.
Right.
Yeah, I tell them all I don't like Eli all the time.
They do.
On camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, with your channel, so
One more question.
Yeah,
How
go.
many subscribers do you have?
8,000.
There you go. So
fuck yeah.
another thing I want to explain to you guys. He doesn't have 200,000 subscribers. He doesn't have 500,000 subscribers. He's got 8,000, but it's a mile deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a super
We've had over
niche-
2,000 reach outs.
Right. You've got a super niche lane, just like we do here in Denver.
Yep.
Yeah.
But people are calling, text messaging, emailing, and they're wanting to buy a home with you. And then you're making that money on the commissions because people are choosing you as their realtor. You don't need 100,000 subscribers.
No.
And matter of fact, I don't know if channels like this will ever reach that height unless we do other stuff to it that could take away from the buying process.
Right.
To get it that big, but you don't need it that big. What you need to do is just focus on the fundamentals, understanding that a mile deep can make you just as wealthy and successful as being wider. If anything, it can make you more, right? But super interesting. And I like some of the ideas you have, because I think some of the ideas you have, we're not implementing yet. And it'd be good for us to maybe implement some of those things to like also push our channel. How far behind is your channel from our channel? A year? 6 months?
January 2021 was when I started it. So what's that, about 6 months?
We were June 2020.
So June, and you were what?
January 2021.
So June, so
8
July,
months or so.
August, September, October. Yeah, I mean,
8 months
not
or
far.
so.
Great. Oh, and Junior in Tennessee.
Yeah,
He's a little bit further behind it. He's about a year behind us, right?
I think so.
Somewhere around there.
Yep.
Also crushes.
Yep.
And he's about to, I don't know if is it the same financial success? Similar, right?
Probably not far off, man. I think so. He's done more frequency. He's done it more correctly for longer, right?
Yeah.
Like, Sam, I mean, he just did it right out of the gate.
Yeah,
And then
Junior
just
took a
made
little
it
bit of
better
time,
from
but like
there.
now he's super capitalizing.
One a
but making
week
decent
here and
coin.
there, you know.
But now he's really capitalizing.
Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Real estate moving forward, like what's
Yeah.
your next endeavor, man? Like how are you building? What are you looking at doing as far as your business and growing it?
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to the time horizon. You know, I kind of mapped out 10 years when I started in real estate.
Fuck, you did?
Yeah.
You're so mature.
Was end of year one out of real estate already? Was that on your
No,
little plan?
but that like agent and sales part was like phase one. Like, how do I get past this phase one
Yep.
to be like the wholesaler and investor?
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yep,
that's
yep.
always like even why I got into real estate. You kind of went the opposite way with that. But I mean, that's just where my interests lie. Like, how do I like build a business that lets me like chase my interests?
Yep.
The whole time, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of phase two.
Get
I
into
can't
more
get
of
over
the
that you were
investing
reading a
side.
book on the plane. I'm like, this fucking guy's like everything
You're
I
writing
wanted
on
to
the
be.
No, I was journaling.
Yeah, he's journaling.
That's right.
on the
Even
plane.
more
Yeah,
mature.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like everything.
works.
He's got a little bit of like peppered gray hair in like
I know.
the great
I know.
way.
Yep.
I always wanted that.
I was listening
don't have
to a podcast. I was actually listening to
While
Jocko.
journaling.
Jocko interviewed on another podcast.
Do you
which-
journal with a feather and like
Quill,
dabbing ink?
like a
No,
quill and
no,
ink. Just that is a fancy pen though.
Yeah.
He's everything like I want
see-
to
we
be
see that pen
mature
here.
wise.
Yeah.
I'm just not blessed.
Okay.
He's got the bolt action pen.
I rely more on talent. You're just more mature than me.
You got some talent.
Potentially.
That's a good start.
Yeah, you're journaling on a no. I've journaled. I like journaling at home. I'll journal there. I'll journal on my phone a lot. Planes, I tend to like watch a movie.
There you go.
Yeah. So phase one was kind of like agent.
And this is your 10-year plan.
Yeah. How do I build lead gen? How do I automate that? And then how do I just refer everything out?
Yep.
Whether that's to a team, like a really
So
close
let's
agent.
break this out for agents
or
that are
arm's reach.
listening. Yep. So let's break this down for agents that aren't listening, or that are listening, or anyone. What you're talking about was year number one was what?
becoming an agent, building lead gen, and then referrals.
So practitionership.
Yeah.
So he's talking about learning, applying, becoming proficient, and then scaling his proficiency with more transactions where he could provide that for other realtors.
Yeah.
Correct? What was year 2?
So that was phase 1. So these
gotcha.
aren't like specific years.
Gotcha, okay.
But so the next phase is like wholesaling and rentals.
Got it. Yep. And then phase
as a buyer
3.
and as an agent. Phase 3 is large residential and commercial investing.
Yep.
And then phase 4 is pretty much passive businesses and like live in Italy 6 months out of the year.
Where's agent attraction in there?
Yeah, that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be right
That's all
here
he's
in
been hearing me
between
fucking say since he's
phase
been
1
in
and 2.
town.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, man, like the number one thing people need to understand is how many folks there are to help, right? So
Yeah.
He gets it so much over that organically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. That's
Well,
a
and
clue,
I'm starting
bro.
to see like
That's
this
a
is the
clue.
kind of stuff I can help them with, right?
Yeah, dude.
It's not just like how to be a better agent. It's not just how to make YouTube videos. It's like
fuck.
how to like think of your life.
Well,
How to like plan
all
this
of it.
business, right?
That's all of it. Like,
Yeah.
so now you're starting to get into like why I was successful at real estate because I understood that through a decade in the Marine Corps,
The leadership side.
police work,
Yeah, yeah.
professional sports. Like I had that idealistic approach to like manipulating environments
Yep.
and seeing the game within the game
Yeah.
before I was even like playing the game. Like at some point, like when I was getting into real estate, like I already understood the game.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into real estate and I'm working transactions, whatever it may be. The game within the game became super early on. And then us growing, like, for example, the audacity we had to grow a team. He was around longer than me in real estate, right? Eli's been around-
Just about a year and a half, I think.
Yep, which is like an eternity, right?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But so my first year, we're growing a team. So I did 34 deals my first year while also co-owning a team with Eli and getting them to the top 1% in the world for Berkshire.
Yeah.
It's a fucking audacity. But I understood, hey, man, if I consider myself a 3 in real estate, a 4 out of 10 in real estate, anybody that's a 4 or below, could I bring value to?
Absolutely.
So why don't we just have a ton of fucking 4s out there getting better? And then as I'm getting better and learning more, I'm pouring it into them. You are literally building people under you as you increase, right? So like you don't have to wait until you're this know-it-all unless you want to go fucking talk like you're a know-it-all. That's the mistake people make.
Yeah.
Is you want to go run your mouth like you're a fucking know-it-all and you're not? Fuck you. Go be a know-it-all and then run your mouth in 20 years.
Yeah.
Don't say shit. Or document your process, document your success, talk about what's working for you. People that want to do business similar to how you're doing business because they want to win how you're winning. That's why we teamed up with Jesse and Jackson. Dude, we interviewed with the vice president of EXP, right? We had Mark Pattison. There's guys doing thousands of deals a year. We had pick of the litter where we wanted to go. We went to the nobodies of that group. And I'm not saying they're nobodies. They're our fucking boys, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying nobodies is like status quo or recognition or network or street cred at EXP.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are probably the lowest on that scale, but had the highest return of value for us because of what they created. That's how we saw and envisioned our business.
Yeah.
I didn't need them to have taken the world over yet.
No, they just needed to be like a couple steps ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
matter of fact,
That's
dude,
it.
it's better when it's there because
Yeah.
dudes that have already made it, even if they're a know-it-all, do they have the energy to pour into me?
Right.
Right? When you're looking for mentorship or leadership, it's about finding people that are successful and are successful at like how you want to be successful. The second thing to that is like, hey, are they in a place in life where they're eager and ambitious to lead and pour into you? Because if they're not, then it doesn't matter how much they know. None of that matters. But Jesse and Jackson were winning the way we wanted to win. They were a couple steps ahead, but they were eager, they were hungry, and it's like, hey, we matter to them. And I remember when we were looking at Compass, they were offering a signing bonus and some other bullshit, right? We interview with them in Cherry Creek, and we were top 0.5% in the world for Berkshire at this point. So like solid numbers, man. Like not record breaking, but like pretty fucking solid. And we go there, and this CEO lady, non-realtor lady, business lady, I'm sure she's successful in her own right, was there to build, Denver or whatnot. And like, she's not asking us any questions. She's just telling us all about Compass and telling us all about stats and you remind me of a corporate person. You remind me of not a CEO, but like you remind me of someone in a CEO's cabinet where we're sitting at a meeting with 20 people and you're the person in charge of like data analysis and you're up here spitting and writing shit on the whiteboard. I'm new to real estate. I ain't new to you. I know you. We had people like you in the military. I know where the battlefield actually is and how it's fought. You can keep fucking writing whatever you want up here. I understand how correlation. I also understand when we matter. Now, Eli, good looking, super shredded, lean, right? Loves Cherry Creek North. He's like, dude, these offices are awesome. Yeah. Where I felt very proud because Eli is the majority of the value add in this business, not me.
Not true.
True.
Go ahead.
Where I felt proud to give some values like, man, I know people. We don't matter here. And I don't mean we need to matter from an egotistical standpoint. But we were just a number, dude. You're going to throw this bullshit signing bonus and some ad spend or whatever. And I understood their marketing. Hey, we do all of your marketing. We got marketing specialists. They do all of it. It's like, oh yeah, you're just going to make us look like everybody else with a bunch of Compass shit all over it. You're marketing Compass through us.
Yeah.
I fucking figured that out like this, right? Not that that's like something to brag about. You know, a lot of people that went there didn't see that. But when she's telling us all this shit, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're giving us the same meeting you've given every other real estate team.
Of course. Yeah.
You're just, right?
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, dude, we don't matter here. Yeah, no, but we got to level up. I'm like, I agree. And where we're at right now with Berkshire, we've already decided this is not the place where we're going to grow any further than we've already grown. But I don't want to make a move where we don't matter. We matter at Berkshire. They appreciate us. The volume we bring in does impact their business. And if I make a phone call, they pick up. We matter. So for now, hey, let's pause. Let's hold the fort down. And then we're here. And then, you know, we move into EXP. But full transparency, it wasn't EXP. It was Jesse and Jackson and the people that they had around them and talking to them. They didn't recruit us. We were talking on a podcast. We had Jackson on because he got referred to our podcast to another guy that was on our podcast. So if you don't have a podcast, get a fucking podcast. Relationships, right?
Yeah.
We started talking in that podcast very quickly. His light bulb went off. My light bulb hadn't gone off yet. But I literally felt his light bulb go off because he's typically more quiet than I am. However, there's no ego in our business relationship or personal relationship. Believe it or not, as much as I talk, he wants me to. And then I just do. Here's what's fun. He started, and this isn't just this one time. He does it a lot, and I know my place. But this is just one example. He starts asking more specific questions to Jackson on the podcast. And I recognize his light bulb. And I don't know what it is, but I know it's on.
Yeah.
I shut the fuck up and just start listening.
Yeah.
And then my light bulb goes off. And then that podcast very quickly became, we were just asking our questions. And then after the podcast, it was, hey man, we really need to sit down and just collaborate and move this further as far as what this looks like. And Jackson's like, yeah, dude, all great. But the recruitment per se, the agent attraction per se was a relationship and a value add we saw in Jackson that we then saw with Jesse. But when we moved over there with these guys, it's like, hey man, you know, we matter to these guys, you know, which is, and I want to, because and they're also in a phase of like, they're on their grind. They want to conquer the world. And I hadn't met anybody yet in real estate that wanted to like conquer the world. And I'm like, oh, you do, motherfucker? Because so do I. So get out of the fucking way. And they're like, no, we don't have to get out of the way. We can just do it together. Oh, cool. But dude, like Berkshire, other places we were at, it was like either we're in a traditional structure where, you know, the CEO or the lady, the division lady for Compass, of course she wants us to crush the world, quote unquote. Yeah. Because then it just makes her look great. But she doesn't have to help us do it. It's like, if you're right, it's different. And then when we're over here, it's like,
she has no stakes in it.
No, she's just there for fucking numbers and making sure people are producing so she can run her data analysis and explain to people why it's a fucking good thing, right?
She's probably laid off right now anyway.
Yeah, no shit, right? But the point was, it was like, man, so like when you guys are looking at your business or whatnot, or looking at relationships, it's really diving into like what matters. What I'm excited for you about is I can feel your excitement to help other agents have more time with let's not talk deals. Like let's say what deals are. Have more time with their kids. Have more time with their wife. Have more time with themselves. Have more time to have other people grow. Like your success and transactions have created a lifestyle that you appreciate. So now that you've felt that and you've succeeded at that, you're not helping agents get more deals. You're helping agents get more time with their family. Get more independence. Make sense?
Yeah.
And you know that because you feel it, but it's fun feeling like your excitement for that next phase of like, yeah, where the fuck does this go, guys? Like,
Yep.
it goes everywhere. Because as you hit every phase, that's just more and more material, more and more wisdom, more and more experience that you can pour into the next level of person, period.
And it's so fulfilling, man. Like,
yeah.
it's cool doing deals and stuff, but man, like that time when you told me how it's like how much time you got to spend with your newborn, like crazy, right? Like that's the thing where it's like no other deal fucking matters. That's just cool as shit. That truly, like, man, like it's your son, right?
Yeah.
Like his life is going to be drastically different than if you weren't there for that first year. Like literally life changing, right? Like as much as you want to think helping someone buy a house is life changing.
No, it's not.
Is it really life changing, or is it just a little phase of the next place?
The first deal that my buyer's agent did was bigger than any deal I had done on my own.
Oh, really?
And that was like,
Say that one more time.
Like this is bigger than.
So I was doing deals like 400 or 500 maybe.
Yep.
And then the first deal my buyer's agent did was 600. I was like, oh yeah. So scaling is a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
fucking A. Fucking A.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Dude, and like you just have to, like when people want to be luxury agents and stuff like that, and they set out, it's like, hey man, cut that out, because like luxury is a different ballgame. Luxury buyers, so are luxury sellers. You know, you need to gain the experience with people and understanding. Because like for example, nothing against any price point, so don't get fucking weird. But depending on the price point people are at, they're just happy to get a home.
Yeah.
And they're just happy to have home ownership. They're not overly fickle about inspections and stuff, but things have to be adequate because they can't afford to necessarily fix things, right? But because they're motivated, and because if something is available that's within their price range where they don't have to rent anymore, they can actually have home ownership, man, they're so stoked. And because you're not getting much friction from a buyer and they're not as experienced, it allows you to learn transactions. Make sense?
Yeah.
Everything's pretty matter of fact, black and white.
Right. And they're not punching back, right? Like if they're, you know, like, but as you get into like higher, more prepared buyers, you start getting to the 6s, 7s, and 8s. Now you're starting to work with families, successful people that have careers. Not that the other ones don't, but just maybe they've bought houses before.
Yeah.
And now they have more funds available to buy bigger homes. They've been through it. So they've got more questions. And you're like, oh, I haven't had that question yet. They actually read the HOA documents.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Hey, what's this?
And now you're like, oh, I actually have to read HOA documents.
Oh gosh.
Not because I'm getting tested on it, but because if they have a question, I should be able to answer it right away or know where it's at in the HOA documents to get to it in a timely manner. Right. So like they're just having like more questions, more preparedness, which requires you to be a little bit more prepared. Like for example, right? Like Kate, my significant other, she's smart. That's a struggle because I actually have to listen when she talks, right? Like, and I'm not being fucking funny. If I've dated a girl before that like has a job that's very like similar to mine or it's in fitness, you know, whatever it is, it's like, yeah, but like if Kate's telling me about her day and she's a software developer and other shit, it's like, dude, I gotta be
locked in.
right. And it's not like she's trying to create friction for me. It's just that who she is as an individual requires more attention. It's more respectable, right? Like, great. Same thing with your clients. It's like your buyers that start getting to higher price points. They're not trying to be an asshole. Okay. And like, dude, we ran into this with some of our agents. Oh, my client's such an asshole. They're like, you know, like, and they keep fucking asking us. Like, no, dude, they're not an asshole. You're a fucking asshole. Because secondly, they either just don't know because they haven't done a ton of real estate and you just haven't explained it well enough to where they understand it. So you're the asshole. Or, hey, man, they're just actually more prepared in this process than you are because they've bought and sold more homes.
They might have more information than you.
Yeah, and they've just bought and sold more homes than you've even done as transactions. Or maybe you've done more transactions, but you've gotten away with just doing the minimum.
Yeah.
These people actually do their research with city and county HOA documents, and they've got questions for you, or they've gone over zoning or ILC surveys and things that you normally just check boxes yes or no on, like they've actually got questions on them. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just not prepared to answer them.
Yep.
So the more you get into that higher price points, the higher level of agent you have to be. A lot of people think being a luxury agent is like marketing it and I get to dress really nice and like I sell luxury. It's like, dude, no. Like we have a lot of luxury buyers.
Yeah.
Right. We do a lot, well over $1 million. The preparedness and experience you have to handle those people. Not only is it transactional like that, But at the same time, it's not about affordability.
No,
Some of these guys, dude, it's about just getting them a win.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
principle.
Okay.
These guys operate off principle, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Like I'm talking to
crazy.
one, dude, I'm talking to one of our buyers. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Boulder.
Yep.
You know who I'm talking about? He went to Shaw's with me.
Yep.
I won't mention his name. This dude has access to like the underground market of like samurai, ancient
Like real
samurai.
shit.
Oh, people are into that.
So,
Yeah.
but he has access to like the underground, dude. Like, and he's talking about some of the stuff and like how much it is and this and that. But like, dude, Japan and these other guys that like own it, they're rich as fuck. They don't need your fucking $5 million. They don't need your 500 because they got stuff all the way from a couple $100s to millions upon millions, right?
Yep.
And he gave me this book to read. And he gave me some other articles to like read because like, hey, you should come with me sometime. Like, you should invest in some of the stuff. You love this stuff, you know. He's like, yeah, Rolex is cool and cars are cool, but this, man, this is history. Like, this sword, this thing right here was made in like 1600 whatever. And you're just like,
shit.
wow, right? Like,
shit,
dude.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like when you go and you get invited into some of those rooms, if you don't know what you're looking at, if you don't have any understanding of like what things are, you just want to go in and like buy something, you're fucking X, dude. You're blacklisted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they don't want no part of it. Like at some level, like they want these pieces to be appreciated and understood. Because it's like, hey man, do you know like if you pull a samurai sword out and you just leave it out in the elements, like out in like nice normal weather, like you'll get surface rust to it.
I
It'll
believe
get
it.
damaged,
Yeah.
like because it needs a certain type of oil.
Yep.
It's got to be covered and cared for. Like, so like they show you one of these swords and it looks like it's chrome. Understand though, how well did that have to be coveted
Yeah.
Yeah.
to still look like that thousands of years later, bro? And they want your fucking ass, but nope.
Yep. And they
Ain't gonna
don't need
happen.
the money. They don't need
They don't
the
need
money.
the fucking money, right?
Yep.
So like, it's very, but like he also happens to be one of our $4 million buyers. Like, and a lot of the stuff that was coming down to it was like deals. And here's the other thing, man. When people can afford that much, dude, they've got options.
Yeah.
They can build. They can buy pretty much whatever they like. You if you can afford $4 million in Colorado, like there's not much you can't buy out here,
Or
man.
they can rent a place for 20 grand a month and they're
He
not
did.
like batting an eye at it.
He
Right?
did. Yeah. And then because he had his place completely remodeled.
Exactly.
Completely other story. But like super cool, right? But like if you don't understand human beings and how they operate, and if you're still so busy, like for example, if you want to look at like war or football, if you're like a running back in football, if you're a quarterback in football, and you're so novice, right, that like everything is moving so fast in front of you that like you're just throwing it to the first receiver or what you think you see is open because like everybody around you, you got like this tunnel vision. If you're so novice or new or inexperienced or just not talented at the actual practitionership of real estate, contracts, legalities, how things need to be worded, you're never going to pick your head up out of that paper and see the transaction from a bird's eye view and see what that guy's saying
Yeah.
and what he's saying. Right? Like, and finding out like his traits, his personality, where he needs a win. And for that client, we knew where to find a win in order for that house to be good. And by the way, that house is significantly more expensive.
How's that kitchen looking?
Baller.
So did you buy him a samurai sword? Is that the win you got for him?
No, but how we negotiated the deal. And dude, we went cold on this deal. We also like with enough of our experience, because let me tell you about, not all of them. There are some agents in Boulder that are very interesting. As in, like, if you don't live in Boulder or you're a Boulder agent, they're like,
Even brokerages.
They're like-
Compass will not allow a non-Boulder agent. If you're at Compass in Denver, you can't do a deal in Boulder.
That's weird.
It's
it's
fucked
like
up.
this little, it's like its own little covenant.
It's 45
as well,
minutes
right?
up the road.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Fuck you, Boulder.
But the way that they behave, right? The problem is like you can do that, but if guys are good enough and sharp enough and they call your bluff, they're going to call your bluff. We went cold on this deal, knowing it was going to go cold,
Yeah.
and we let it go cold. The reason why we were able to let it go cold is because we did well enough with the client of where he wanted to be on the deal financially and where he was prepared to walk away and be okay with it, even if we got ghosted. And I literally, to this day, told him, if we submit here, we're going to get ghosted.
Yep.
And that's okay because I work for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just need him to be prepared, because if we get ghosted and then you want to call back a day or two later, they
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, they've got you.
And now you're going to pay whatever you have to pay, correct?
Right.
But we got them in a place where like, hey, at least in this phase, $1 more. I don't care if they ghost me for a decade.
Yep.
All good. So just getting your clients to commit and understand where they're at.
Yeah.
So we go cold on this deal for how long?
Couple weeks, I think.
Bro, we're fucking gnarly with this shit, right?
Well, and helping them see that you can play the game.
But we understand the
Right?
game.
And
Hey,
Yeah.
also playing, right, so preparing him for what's going to happen. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, it's going to go dark.
The second he felt like we were going, the second he felt like we weren't on his side,
Yeah.
he's with another agent.
Absolutely,
Promise you.
yeah.
Promise you.
So you got to support him while also giving him proper education of like, here's what it could look like. Hey,
Yeah.
it's going to go dark. If we're here, it's going to go dark. He's like, we'll go dark. Like,
Yep.
good to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because as long as he knows what he's getting himself into, that's fine. But if I'm like, oh yeah, no, like, well, because some people think like, well, if you lowball, like, well, okay, like, well, what's the worst that could happen? Like they're gonna counter us anyway. And that was his first rebuttal. Okay, was all right. Well, if we're here, all right. Well, they're probably gonna counter us anyway. So then we should just go here. And I go, no, not necessarily. You can come in so low that it can come off disrespectful to
Yeah.
a seller, because just as much as your principal as a buyer,
Yep.
someone that can afford these levels of home, they're principal too. So the fact that you're spitting in their face,
Yeah.
and I told him, if we're here, right? Honest, even dude, Eli was on the call. I'm like, hey, bro, no, they're gonna ghost us.
Yeah. This is spitting in their face.
But hey, we're still gonna submit, and
Yeah.
we still got your back. But here's what I think's gonna. I don't think we're gonna get a counter. I think we're gonna get ghosted. How I knew that was by having proper conversations with the listing agent. Even
Right.
though she was a little stuck up and a little boulderish to us, right? She was able to navigate. Like I was able to get some conversation of her where I could pick up what she was putting down.
Yeah.
If I'm still trying to understand real estate and terminology, I'm not reading between the lines of what she's saying.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking missing it. Correct? Like Tom Brady's going to throw the ball where the receiver's going to be, not where he is. Understand?
Yep.
If you're still trying to catch up to football and you're
and then
throwing
he's
it where
mad
he
at
is,
that receiver if they're not there.
correct.
Right?
But if he's throwing the ball where someone's at, it's too late. So I'm doing the same thing in real estate, and I know it. So cool. But buyer was prepared. All good. So when it gets ghosted, hey, we'll go look at some other stuff, because he's okay if he gets ghosted.
Yeah.
But he's not. It's like, hey, if they're not even open to negotiations, then I'm okay to just not even talk to them. Good. That's a win for me. I don't need to win the house. I need to win as in I'm okay with where the client's at, right? Good to go. Bro, we go dark for weeks. And then she had to call us, right? Dude, not only did she ghost us, right? Cool. Now, here's my thing with agents. I don't like when agents ghost each other. So if I'm
Right.
selling a house and you submit an offer, okay, and it's low, it's whatever, it's blasphemy to the seller, okay, and they're like, we're not even going to decline that. We're not even going to counter. Fuck that. Just let it expire. Me as a listing agent, I'm going to reach out to you and go, hey man, here's where the conversation was.
Yeah.
And they're just going to let this thing expire. Because you and I, to an extent, are on the same team as realtors.
Yeah.
Because representing your clients, having a fiduciary duty to your clients, is sometimes helping them from getting in their own way,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's not going to go well, etiquette, professional to professional, I'm going to let you know, hey man, they're just not going to move forward. But if you guys have something else to submit, I'll definitely get it in front of them.
Yeah.
She didn't even do that. Not only did they ghost, she ghosted. But here's what's fun. Then she has to reach back out.
That seller came back to her, said, come on, we got to talk to them.
And then when she comes back, it's like,
Hey
guys, how are
Yeah.
you? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, shut the fuck up. Come on. Apologize. But taking ego out of real estate, we didn't ghost her. No, fuck her. No, we didn't even make her apologize or even address that it was even apparent that she
Yeah.
ghosted us. We all just acted like it didn't happen.
Now we're talking.
Fucking deal got done, and then we're good to go. But like, dude, that's luxury. That luxury listing is not having a black and white sign rolling up in your BMW 3 Series with your fucking black tie
thanks for
on.
correcting that, because they ain't driving a fucking M3.
No.
They're driving a 3 Series.
I know. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's navigating. It's navigating that, bro. It's almost like jujitsu. Like, oh, I want to be a black belt. No, you don't.
Yep.
No, you don't. The time, the energy, the injuries,
Yep.
the sweat, the fucking whatever that you, and then,
Yeah.
but by the time you get to be a black belt, your physical competition going on is merely a representation of a psychological battle. The battle is psychological. That's just being displayed in its physical form.
Yeah.
Correct? Dude, that's luxury shit, bro. But everyone wants to just go, and it's like, dude, you you're going to be so far off, you won't even know the key indicators or the signs. Like you won't even know what you're.
If you can even
going
land
around
the
you.
goddamn client.
You know what? You know what? Like luxury clients, like you being a newer realtor or just not an adequate realtor wanting to be a luxury agent. You know what it reminds me of? Us being in this world, not seeing all the energy and ghosts and other shit around us that we just don't know.
Yeah, right.
But then you do like psychedelics and you're like, oh my God.
Like there's like other shit right
I
here.
swear to God, that's what it is, because it's like, hey, there's so much around you with what people are saying and little seeds that are getting planted that like, but you're not even coherent to it. It's like, you don't even know how hard it is to be successful at this, right? Like it's that. So like for agents that want to do that, it's like, hey, you got to learn how to be a great professional. And then as you increase price points, sell points get higher.
Yeah.
Allow it to take its course. Don't try to go white belt, black belt, man. Like be appreciative, humble, and hardworking at all of these belts you're acquiring along the way, because I promise you they fucking matter to when you're here. And then when you're here, you're prepared.
Right.
Right. Makes sense. And let's not forget that we're trying to make sure that the client experience and you are representing them appropriately. Like you also have to make sure of that. And if you're not a black belt, why are you servicing that? Right. I don't know.
Sam, you were about to tell us about a client story before we started this podcast.
Yeah, this is a funny one.
Let's hear it.
Let's
The
hear
Asian?
about it.
Yeah, an Asian lady.
Okay.
She's quite hard to understand on the phone, and you deal with it, navigate it.
Sure,
This
sure.
Retiring couple from Vegas, selling their house out there, had cash to buy a place.
Okay.
And I've been like nurturing this lead for 3 or 4 months. And then they're about to come down, about to look at places. Like, all right, we're ready to go. And they're like, actually, our agent out here referred us to somebody. We're going to go with them.
Shit. Yep.
Like, all right.
Yep.
No sweat. Like, we didn't show you anything. Who cares?
Yep.
Good luck. So they're in Tampa.
Yep.
When I landed yesterday in Denver, I had a voicemail from her saying,
Nice.
hey, we want to buy a different place.
Different place than Tampa?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, different place in Tampa.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So my buyer's agent just signed, he texted me right before this, just signed an exclusive agreement with her.
So she reached back out.
So now we're going to buy them a new house and sell their house.
Yeah.
Just because we still had an impression on her. I wanted to tell this story because like.
So she ended up not using the other agent.
No, she used the other agent to buy their house.
Oh.
But now
you're selling it.
Now
and
wants
buying.
to sell it and buy a different one.
So it wasn't a good experience for them.
It wasn't that bad, but I still made an impression.
Yeah.
And I still had a dumb drip campaign going from the MLS that I forgot to
it's
turn
not
off.
dumb. It's a drip. And on top
Isn't
of that,
that-
it's also your content. You still have content going on.
Exactly.
So she was
She still sees it.
She was a YouTube buyer originally, correct?
Yeah.
Goes with someone else, but like she still sees all of your consistent content. And like when you're going to help her sell her house right now, everyone understands like that this market is way more stable, way more regular than what it was 8-9 months ago.
Right.
And it's like, oh, a monkey can't sell your house right now.
No.
So they see your production, they see everything that's going on. I'd venture to say that your brand and your consistency is like, hey, this guy can probably do a better job at selling this for us and helping us navigate like the purchase.
And since she came in through YouTube, she knows people call me because of YouTube.
Oh yeah, you got
Like
buyers.
I have more buyers than other people have.
That's what we tell people all the time.
100%.
Yeah, that's what we tell people all the fucking time. Yeah.
Brand.
Yes.
Like if there's one word for that,
Yeah,
it's
it is.
brand.
Yep.
Period. Right? Sorry.
And that style of brand on YouTube that all of us have built shows so much of what you're like.
And here's what I want people to 100%. But even, dude, we've had so many clients. If I had to pick and choose, and this is why it's important to understand, like when you go to like a traditional brokerage, whoever, and they start teaching you, like when I went to Keller when I was first starting real estate, they teach like, all right, so what's your ideal client? I'm fucking 5 minutes. I was at Keller for a day, by the way, right? I figured that one out. And it wasn't Keller, it was the people. But they're starting to talk to you about like your ideal. Okay, so what's your ideal client?
Your
All of
avatar.
them.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so they're 34. I don't know why I have this
Yeah.
voice, but it reminds me of myself. They're 34. They're on their second or their third kid, so they need to upgrade and get more space. So they're probably selling their small house. And dude, stop it. Here's the thing. You don't know who's into you. I learned this,
No, you
dude.
have no
And this is
idea.
why I left Keller. So when I was getting ready to get into real estate, we would do booths for like the fitness company I was with. We would sell memberships and different stuff, right? And I remember putting out tents and doing tons and tons of memberships. And dude, there was a day where like I was being a little bit lazy or whatnot. I had some youngsters with me that were young hustlers, so I could kind of like pick and choose who I wanted to like speak to get some memberships going. And these guys couldn't touch me, bro. I could convert way better than them. However, on one day when they were beating me, it's because I was picking and choosing who I was speaking to. And there were several people that were like walking up into the stores that we were having booths at that I was assuming wouldn't be interested.
Oh yeah.
They weren't making eye contact or whatever, right? But like once they got spoken to, oh, well, what do you guys have? And they got it, and it's like, you never know. Same thing with your brand, dude. We've got young people, old people, all races, all personalities, all everything that are into us. And it's like, and Eminem also mentioned this. Eminem was at some arena for one of his like first super large concerts. And he talked about how he kind of like thought who his ideal like fan was. And then for some reason, like the lights came on at the beginning of the concert, like when they weren't supposed to or something like that. And they shut right back off. And he saw like how many like teenage white kids were in there that related to him. And it was like, oh shit. And it's a testament to like, don't think you know who's your market, right? Like, and we have so many vast. What you need to do is realize that, hey, here's what your brand should be: consistent, quality, a value add, informative, client first. Yeah, that is it.
Dash, throw some entertainment in there.
Yeah,
entertaining. Value add. I put that with value add, right? But like the bottom line is, then let people make the decision to call you. And you'd be surprised how many people are into you. And I promise you, dude, we have people that have different political views than us. We don't talk political views on our YouTube channel, but you can just tell where certain people sit with certain things, or they might make comments while you're out.
So surprised. So some of the people still like they'll jump out of Zoom call with them. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you guys called us? Cool.
Some of it is, hey, you're just so top of mind because you're first to the clients. But the bottom line is, regardless of all of that, what your brand really is like, hey, know, like, and trust. They don't need to go to the same church or have political views as me. They need to trust that we're going to get the job done. That some of these higher luxury clients I'm talking about that have very, very, very exclusive jobs within social media. We'll leave it at that. Meta, we'll say that part. He literally said, hey, I have a time window of when I've got an opportunity to like execute moving for me because I'm a busy guy.
Yeah.
But you guys are consistent. It sounds like you know what you're talking about when you guys speak. You're honest. You've got a good product, so you take pride in what you're doing. And he said all of these things is made him feel like that's how you're going to approach the actual real estate. You're going to be consistent with me. You're going to be getting it done in a timely manner because you guys have all these clients, yet you're still doing this many videos a week and you're consistent with it. So he's like, hey, the work ethic and professionalism you're showing with your channel is how I'm imagining you're going to show in your actual profession. And I trust that. You think he gave a shit what toilet paper I use or what my favorite car is or NASCAR driver is? No, man. It was like, hey, I'm trusting you with the most expensive seller buy year to date in my life. I need to trust that you're going to get it done. And like, that's what most realtors need to understand. Hey, this is the most expensive sell or buy or both in people's life. And you're trying to be cute on TikTok. If you happen to be funny, be funny.
Sure.
But you've also got to be professional and informative and like give a reason why people can consider you with that level of purchase, man. And if you're not, then you're doing them a disservice. And if you're wondering why people aren't using you, but you're just being funny, like you're doing a disservice to yourself, expecting that should convert for you. No, man, being professional and educational and giving some form, shed some light on how you're going to approach the game. Dude, it's super important. Like who listens to Peyton Manning and thinks he wouldn't be a great teammate? Right. Like he's not a comedian, but he happens to be funny.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
But he's well-spoken. He's put together. And you're like, hey, man, that's just a good dude right there. Could care less what he names his kids. When it comes to, hey, I think that guy's going to be a great teammate for me. And it's the same thing when you guys, so when I guess what I'll leave, and then you guys can have your final statements. But what I'll leave everybody with today is that's brand. Brand is how quality is it? Like here's another example. I'll leave you with this. How many times have we worn a hat where we don't necessarily care about the brand or our favorite gym shirt that has something, but like it's just a quality shirt and it wears good on you and you like it, dude, you'll wear it. It's the same thing, right? Like how quality is your content? Are you using good cameras? Are you paying attention to lighting? Are you consistent? That shows you're professional. Oh, I can be consistent. That means I'm disciplined. It means I'm professional. How well do you speak to your content? Also, aside of and then do you have a personality? Are you open to being yourself on camera and allowing that to come through? That shows you're comfortable, which means you're probably vetted in something, right? And then your follow up. That's brand. When it comes to your logo or your name, man, give it some thought. Just understand that that's not the foundation of what people are really trusting you with. Make sense? What about you guys?
Sam, I'm just curious when we can expect this new agent training channel where you can share your wealth of knowledge that you have.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's great.
Ooh.
And, I want to talk about 3 things that like that steer every video I do.
Sure.
So in every video, I want to show that I can be trusted, so that I'm honest. I want to show that I'm client focused, or that I have people's best interest in mind, and that I'm decent at real estate. That I can close a deal. I don't need to show that I'm the best, but hey, we get deals done. And every agent can do all 3 of those things with one story at the top of a video, right?
Talk about that.
You can tell one story about a client that you helped, and they were like going through this decision, and you helped them think about it this way.
Yep.
Like that story demonstrates all of those things.
100%.
A story like, hey, I was working with this client. This sort of thing happened. This is what we did, like along those lines.
Here's what I love about here's what I love about what you're getting into, like with coaching, right? It's like Magic Johnson, amazing player, coached the Lakers for like 6 months and they fucking canned his ass.
Yeah.
There's a different level of talent when required, like that's required when it comes to leading and coaching.
Yeah.
Some guys that were average players can coach great. They just see like McDaniels, the play caller for the Patriots during their prime. Like, I don't even know if the guy played football, but like, fuck, man, the guy was just on it, right? And then you do have great players. Now, I do say, like, this isn't football. Football requires an extraordinary level of talent to play professional football. So, no, I don't think you need to be a professional football player to be a great coach. However, when it comes to business or real estate, like, you've got to have some level of success with going through transactions so you're familiar with the practitioner side before you begin to, to teach the branding side. Or if you're going to teach the branding side, just stay on it like Jackson. Doesn't do, but he just teaches the branding side. He doesn't try to carry over. When you can be the unicorn and have experience in both and have an understanding of how to create content. And that's what I feel Eli and I do really well is we are getting great at creating teachables that correlate to our success, that give people the how-tos in order to translate the success to themselves.
Yeah.
Makes sense? And like, that's what I'm excited for you for, because I feel like it'll be a win. Him and I have been talking about that for a while because you guys connect a good amount. He's been mentioning that about you for a while. So now it's just time.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
It is. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited.
I want to go back and say one thing. Like early on, when I first connected with you guys, Will, you and I had a FaceTime call.
Yep.
And I was pretty excited about where
You were in the car, right?
No, this was before that. I remember that one, like in the dark.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like navigating some stuff with a luxury client actually on that one.
Yep.
But before that, I was trying to get to a place where I have multiple deals under contract at a time. Like that's like the next step. And you can only like level up from wherever you are, right? Yep. So I can't I'm not going to get to 34 deals from one. No, I'm going to get to 2 from one.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
So I was like feeling kind of excited about like where this is going. And your reaction, most people would think you're just being a dick. But it's just like, it was just like, so? But it was what I needed.
Did I say so? What did I say? Do you remember what I said to you?
You said, that's not anything. Like you're like, you need to think bigger. Like that's what it was.
It's true.
Because, and that from then on, like I will not associate with people that are impressed with me.
Yep.
Like, and that's
does
so
no
many
benefit.
Agents, they feel like people are impressed with them because they're like going out on their own. They're starting their own business. But no. You need to silence those voices that are impressed with you.
Yeah.
Because they're pulling you down.
Well, because of who you can be.
Yeah.
And and this is
limiting.
This is where like you just get it, which is credit to you, right? Because most people they'll hear some of that and they think that, like that's belittling or that's, like talking down or whatever. And it's like, no, I'm empowering you. I'm actually getting you to open your mind to like how powerful and who you can be versus you having this feeling over here like you've arrived. I made it. And it's like, you start feeling like that now, you ain't winning a Super Bowl. Okay. Like if like the Browns losing their fucking mind because they won a playoff game, I get it.
Or that guy popping champagne at the Raiders game.
Okay.
Last Sunday when they were up 23-7.
But it's like, dude, it's like, hey man, like I get it, but you got to have composure, man. Like you just have to understand how much more it's going to require a certain level of intention and even, and consistency with it. But like, hey, if you've got the capacity for it, and I feel you do, that's why I'm talking like that to you in the fucking first place. The fact that I'm talking to you like
it's
that.
Respect.
Yep.
It's respect and it's empowering and like, hey, we want you with us, right? Like, it's a disservice if I celebrate you at that level.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm not celebrating where you are at. I'm just keeping you focused on like, hey man, here's where we could be. But so many people will take that offensively versus realizing like, oh, hey man, these guys are treating me as a peer.
Yep. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And they're opening my mind and empowering me to more. That's actually a show of respect.
Yeah.
Period, man. Show of respect, which is what more need. And then the tough side of that is like, hey, you should expect more out of yourself. Like, hey, let's not pat ourselves on the back where everyone else is. Let's, right? Or utilize it. Like him and I, like we've had a couple high fives.
Yeah. You should.
But I'm talking literal.
Yeah.
Him and I have had some significant wins where we had like the biggest months. That was a goal.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
$100,000 month was a goal for us, right? Like, what do we do?
Nothing.
No, we slapped high five.
I mean, maybe literally like a high five.
No,
or a
I remember
fist
it.
bump.
We literally
Yeah.
slapped high
Yeah.
five, and then
But then I think,
Hey.
yeah, that's it.
let's get back to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but where I'm, and that sounds like, man, you're fucking hard on yourself. True.
I know people
true.
say that to me too.
But I'm also very forgiving of myself, as in, and he can attest to this. If I'm just having a day, I'll take a fucking day. If I'm just having a day where I'm fucking being weird or like something's kind of
yeah.
getting to me,
course.
and I'm about to take it out on him or I'm just being weird, I've literally told him like, hey, dude, I'm gonna go get a hotel. I'm gonna go fucking take a nap.
Yep.
Because if I feel myself where I need to have it, because I don't waste any time anywhere else, and because I don't gaff off, I don't have to force myself to do something. Every once in a blue moon, probably once a year, I need to fucking just tap out, and it's spontaneous. I don't know when it's I don't know what day that looks like. I don't plan for it. It's unexpected. But because we're so dialed and so focused, when I need to take a day, I'm so forgiving of myself to do it because I know how much progress we've made. Even if I'm having a frustrating day, I don't negate our success.
Yep.
But if I'm gaffing shit off and I'm not working as hard as I should be, then I do have to fucking work that day, even though I don't want to. And that's just going to make my gaffing off and shit fucking worse. But because we're so, like, you go to the gym every day and then you want to take a day, you very rarely feel guilty for not going. When you fucking, right? And you're just like, man, I'm just not feeling it. Like, all right, cool, man. Like, fucking go eat some fucking popcorn, eat some ice cream, watch the game, shut the fuck up, get back at it tomorrow. And I've had days with the gym before where, like, I don't go and I watch Sunday Night Football, like maybe family's out of town or whatnot. Like, I'll eat a large pizza, some fucking ice cream. I'll watch Tom Brady whoop somebody's ass, and I'll sleep like a fucking baby, guiltless.
Yeah.
But I wake up the next day and I get after it. And I know there's going to be a little lag because I eat some pizza or something, but then you just get fucking after it. But it's that, you know, but like, it's fun to watch some of you guys just really start to progress. And then also like watch it take on a mind of its own where like you clearly have your own vision. It's in the same framework of what we're all doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's your vision on how you want to do it. And now you've got a channel where like he's probably taking notes where we can make improvements on our videos because of you. Right?
100%.
Which is super cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Karate Kid's gonna beat Splinter one day, right? Or like
Mr.
or
Miyagi.
Michelangelo or fucking Raphael, right?
Yeah,
But I'm not
hell yeah.
Splinter. You're fucking Splinter.
I ain't Splinter.
Why not? You don't want to be Splinter?
No, I'm not Splinter.
Who's Splinter?
No.
Fucking
Who would be Splinter? I don't know.
Gary V.
yeah, he kind of looks like him.
Does he?
Gary Vee looks like he's gonna be the gray hair, little mouse. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see all a little
for sure.
mousy like that.
I didn't want to call him a rat. It was intentional. I called him a mouse. But no, man, it's been fun having you here. I know you got
thanks,
friends
Sam.
to go see while you're in town.
Yeah.
You can't be hanging out with us the whole time, but super appreciate this.
Where,
and
where
like
can
when you
people
said,
find you and
Oh, yeah.
what's your channel called?
Yeah, Living in Tampa FL is
Yep.
it's the channel. So, yeah, kind of all over on YouTube,
Okay. Okay.
TikTok, Instagram with those, Living in Tampa FL. And then
Do you have a personal like Instagram?
Yeah, the Sam Caudle,
Okay.
Instagram
The
and
Sam
Twitter.
Caudle.
Really where I am.
baller?
Yeah.
Super excited. And like, you know, when you were talking about this is what I'll leave everybody with this a second thing. You were like, hey dude, if you guys got some time, like let's get together, let's brainstorm some things that I want to cover. I want to do like, you know, while I'm in town and I can take some of those thoughts back to Florida. Yeah, cool. Hop on the podcast and then let's just make some content out of it. And then you
Yes,
can also
sir.
take that with you, right? So like it's realizing like for everybody out there wanting to make a brand or whatever, or they're capitalizing their brand. Hey, it's not just about creating the content like we do with like YouTube, right? It's also about
Yeah.
capturing
Yeah.
every day what you're out there doing or the conversations you're having. Because not only can you progress from that, but then you've also got that you can push out on social media. And who knows who that's going to help? But now you've got a full hour and something of content you can take with
But
you.
I also wanted to be on the podcast. But
Good, 'cause we
Yeah.
wanted you
but
to.
I wanted to show up to your
Yeah.
event. I wanted to support what you guys are doing, add value to your team,
Yeah.
and then see what happens.
Yep.
It's fucking
I didn't
cool.
ask.
Yep.
And it was so funny, man, because like
Never.
my midterm memory is bad. And he fucking said Phoenix for whatever reason.
didn't say
You were talking about
Phoenix.
somewhere,
I swear
and it
to
made
God,
my
I said
brain think
Phoenix.
you were from Phoenix, and it threw me off. And I'm like,
You're like, wait,
I don't fucking know
him.
this guy. And then once he was like, I was like, hey, who's that? He's like, oh yeah, the Florida guy. I go, fuck
Like,
you,
oh,
man.
that's him.
Yeah,
I still have no idea where
Sam.
he got Phoenix from, but
Yeah,
Listen, he has like this whole owning his part side. Like,
struggles.
shit.
we're working. I've got a rubber ball. I've got a couple of other like cute
one of those
things
like
for you.
paddles.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I'm working
Yeah,
my way
pain
up.
retains, but
Yeah,
then he
yeah.
likes the pain. So that's for another podcast. But no, man, super appreciate you making time for the event. I also,
yeah.
when you're looking at our event,
Yeah.
Eli can help you out as well, like going over our Eventbrite, going over how we market it, going over
Yeah.
where we started. Because like when you're watching the event, I want you to see it from a practitioner side, not only of whether
Yeah,
it's a
I
good
did.
event or
Yeah.
not, but like, hey, how could I be applying this myself where I'm at to educate more realtors?
Yeah.
And
That's me standing in the back of the room.
Yeah.
I've got a wide view of this event. I'm trying to like understand.
and you're
a lot
looking
of
at the
things.
branding. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
they got branding. Oh, they got these QR codes, and these QR codes put people into a public Facebook group where they can learn every week. And then if they do want to team up and build their brand, then it's sparking these conversations. So we have conversations with people that already want to join.
Yeah.
From the event. We have others that don't even know what that looks like, but they go to our page to learn more from that QR code. So now they're in our Facebook group where we can educate them, and that conversation eventually happens. But because we have that as a resource, we don't have to hard press anybody.
Nope.
Go there. We got some people that are joining now, and we've been over here for 2.5 years.
Sure.
Consistent content, consistent education, but it's you being able to see all those tactics and go. And then when you listen to us talk, I'm sure it was impactful. I'm sure it's valuable, but it ain't fucking rocket science.
No.
So now when you're hearing my story, you then correlate that to your own story and realize where your content is. Like, man, I could tell my story and teach these fucking 2 things right here. You don't have to teach everything in one day.
Yeah.
Just tell your story and teach these. And you're like, oh, but then I can bring people to a group and I can train once a week. Oh, and now you're seeing the formula, which will help you for your next thing.
Yeah.
100%. Cool.
I appreciate you being on, man.
Happy
It's good
Friday,
to
Yeah,
meet
boys.
you,
thanks,
dude.
guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, hell yeah.
100%.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah. I'm going to give us a quick outro here. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back next week. Day $1.0.
We're out of here.
Out.
See you guys.
For nothing, I can never take a day off.